Can you think of something really scary? Some people are afraid of things like the dark, or snakes, or being up really high. But in today's Bible story, there's something that would be really scary for me: getting locked inside a den with lions. The story of Daniel and the lion's den starts in the book of Daniel with our main guy, Daniel. Daniel was very responsible. In fact, the king trusted Daniel so much he wanted Daniel's help to rule the kingdom. The king's men were very jealous of Daniel, so they made a plan to get him in trouble. The king's men knew Daniel loved God. Daniel worshipped God and he prayed to God all the time. So the men convinced the king to make a decree or a rule that would turn Daniel's love for God into a crime. The men had the king write a decree saying that everyone had to pray to him. Anyone who prayed to anything else, like God, would be thrown into a den with lions. So Daniel had to think about what to do. He could keep praying to God and be punished, or he could follow the decree and start praying to the king. What do you think Daniel decided to do? Well, as we already said, Daniel loved God. He was not going to turn his back on God, but this meant that if he was caught praying to God instead of the king, he would be thrown in with the lions. And guess what? That's just what happened. The king's men caught Daniel praying to God and captured him so they could throw him into the lion's den. The king liked Daniel and didn't want to punish him, but all the men said Daniel must be punished. So the king ordered that Daniel be thrown into the lions, even though he hoped Daniel's God would keep him safe. Daniel must have been super scared. I mean, lions. Here's what happened next. As the king and his men threw Daniel into the lions, Daniel trusted God. After one long night, the king came and opened up the den to see what happened to Daniel. The king was surprised and relieved to see that Daniel was safe all night. Daniel told the king that God had sent an angel to protect him and that God had kept the mouths of the lions shut. This showed the king that the God Daniel worshipped and prayed to was the one true God. Not only that, but the king wrote a new decree telling everyone in the kingdom to worship the true God and not himself. The idea of being locked in a den with lions sure is scary. But what did Daniel do? He decided to keep praying to God and to stay faithful. He didn't turn away from God. And that's what staying faithful is, not turning away from the things you believe in. Today, we might not have to worry about being locked up with lions, but it can still be hard to follow God sometimes. And we do need to think about staying faithful. For example, maybe the people around us might not believe in God, and that can make it a little scary for us not to fit in. Yeah, and it can be hard, but I want to encourage you to always stay faithful to God and to the things you believe in. Now, here's a song about staying faithful to God.
Staying faithful to God can sometimes be hard, but He is always good to us, so this is where we put our trust. It can happen any day. A challenge might come our way, staying faithful to God can help us through. That's what God wants us to do. Staying faithful to God can sometimes be hard, but He is always good to us, so this is where we put our trust. He is always good to us, so this is where we put our trust.
It's important to stay faithful to God and to the things and people that matter in our lives. Okay, see you next time.
Hey!